Welcome to today's video. The topic of today's video is the top 30 metropolitan areas in the United States as of 2020. This is a test video, so bear with me if it's too slow. The largest metropolitan area in the United States is New York metro area with a population of 19.2 million people. The second largest metropolitan area was Los Angeles, California metro area with a population of 13.2 million. The third most populous metropolitan area was Chicago, Illinois, which had 9.5 million people. The fourth was Dallas, Texas with 7.5 million. Sixth was Houston, Texas, almost 7 million people. The sixth was Washington, D.C. area with 6.25 million. The seventh was Miami, Florida with 6.1 million. Eighth was Philadelphia, Pennsylvania with 6.1 million. Next was Atlanta, Georgia with 5.9 million. 10th was Phoenix, Arizona with 4.9 million people. Followed by Boston, Massachusetts with 4.8 million, and San Francisco, California with 4.7. Riverside, California with 4.6, and Detroit, Michigan with 4.3 million people. The 15th most populous metropolitan area was Seattle, Washington with 3.9 million people. Next, let's look at how we gain access to the census data from the Census Bureau website. The link is provided in the description. Here are the key concepts you need to understand. Despite the centrality of geography to census data, many key concepts are not centrally defined. Instead, each data release documents the subsets of geographic metadata that are relevant to the release. Fortunately, the metadata is consistent from release to release. It's just sometimes hard to find a single source that lays out all of the details. There are two broad areas about geography to understand: what kinds of places the census has data for, called summary levels, and how each of these individual places is identified, GeoIDs. Summary levels. For privacy reasons, the Census Bureau doesn't release the raw responses to the American Community Survey. Therefore, all data in the American Community Survey is summarized for different places that researchers and reporters might analyze. The various classes of place for which data is available are called summary levels. Some of the summary levels are obvious, state or county. Some are more nuanced. All of the geographies in a summary level are independent. They never overlap each other. Summary levels have a hierarchy. Some are conceptually bigger than others, although there are several cities in America with more area or population than the state of Rhode Island. Summary levels have 3-digit numeric codes, sometimes beginning with A0. If you get more involved in census data analysis, these codes will become familiar. The following are the fundamental levels of the census. The United States 010, States 040, Counties 050, Census Tract 140. For each of these, the next level down is perfect subdivision. That is, all of the parent geography is covered by the children. As always, there are several exceptions. Puerto Rico is 040 summary level, but it is not technically part of the 010 United States. And while Washington, D.C. is not a state, it is counted in the 040 and is part of 010. And while there is no true county government for D.C., there is a record for it in the 050 summary level to maintain this consistency. There is no clearly designated official list of census summary levels, but there is a fairly complete list in the cartographic boundary file documentation. The Missouri Census Data Center created a list designed for use with SAS statistical software as part of their own extensive documentation about census summary levels. Your town. Reporters will often want statistics for the cities and towns in their coverage area. For basic access on Census Reporter, all you need to do is search for the name of your city. This can be more complicated than you might first guess. Places, summary level 160. Incorporated cities, towns, and villages are part of the 160 summary level. Generically described as places, the 160 level also includes census-designated places, or CDPs, which provide data for unincorporated areas, which are commonly recognized by people who live in or near them. Place boundaries can divide census tracts across county borders, but a place is always contained in a single state. In every state, there is some territory which isn't in any census place. In an attempt to use simpler language, Census Reporter will occasionally use the word place to mean any census geography at any summary level. County subdivisions. In some parts of the U.S., the county subdivision is a more appropriate summary level to use for this kind of statistical analysis. In 12 states, most of our or all county subdivisions serve as local governments, much like cities and towns. Specifically, those states are Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Wisconsin. In these and 17 more states, most or all county subdivisions are legal entities, known to the Census Bureau as minor civil divisions, or MCDs. In the rest of the states, county subdivisions exist for statistical purposes but are less likely to be important for journalists. 9 states have county subdivisions, which are a mix of MCDs, representing legal entities, and statistical areas known as unorganized territories. For more guidance on understanding county subdivisions, consult the Geographic Terms and Concepts documentation. Metropolitan and Macropolitan Areas, Summary Level 310. Especially when comparing cities around the U.S., it may be more appropriate to compare metropolitan areas. Technically, the census calls these core-based statistical areas, or CBSAs, a general term which includes both metropolitan and micropolitan statistical areas. A CBSA is an official designation of one or more counties around the core urban area, which is the primary focus of economic activity for those counties. You can learn much more about this on the Census's Metropolitan and Micropolitan Statistical Areas main page. Most of the time, Census Reporters uses metropolitan area as general term for both kinds of CBSA. Other interesting summary levels. In addition to data about cities, counties, and states, the Census Bureau tabulates data for several other potentially useful geographies listed below. As with other summary levels, many of these have companion summary levels that subdivide them or account for intersecting boundaries. All of these summary levels are included in the ACS and in Census Reporter. 500. Congressional District. 610. State Legislative District, Upper Chamber. 620. State Legislative District, Lower Chamber. Age 60, 5-digit zip code tabulation area. 950, School District Elementary. 960, School District Secondary. 970, School District Unified. In summary, we looked at how to search for metropolitan area population from the U.S. Census Bureau data. There were a total of 970 distinct metropolitan or micropolitan areas in the U.S., and we could find the top 30 most populous metropolitan areas in this video. Thank you for watching.